The prison genre has produced some iconic films over the years, from the brutal Scum to the renowned The Shawshank Redemption. But nestled among these classics lies a hidden gem, Dog Pound.
Welcome to Enola Vale Youth Correctional Facility.
Butch, bed on the far left. Davis, straight ahead. Angel, right here. Judge may have given you a sentence, but in reality, your sentence all depends on your behavior.
Directed by Kim Chapiron, this harrowing and raw portrayal of life in a juvenile detention facility is often overlooked when discussing the best prison films. However, I think Dog Pound stands out as one of the most underrated prison movies for its unflinching examination of institutional corruption, the psychological impact of incarceration on young minds, and the brutal, dehumanizing effects of the juvenile justice system. The film offers a grim and realistic portrayal of life behind bars, not as a glorified spectacle, but as a grim reality for those caught in the system. Inspired by real-life stories, Dog Pound explores the brutal, survival of the fittest mentality in a maximum security facility for teenagers. The plot centers around three young men, Butch, Davis, and Angel, who find themselves locked up in the same prison. As they navigate the hostile environment, they must confront both the brutal authority of the guards and the territorial gang dynamics amongst the inmates.
This is my first role that I've played where I've been kind of badass. He's quite the character that if you do him wrong or do anybody else wrong, he notices it, that it's not going to be too good for you.
Gentlemen, welcome to Enola Vale Youth Correctional Center.
The film expertly captures the sense of isolation and the fragile balance of power within the prison walls, with tension constantly mounting. What stands out in Dog Pound is its focus on character development. Each of the protagonists is deeply flawed yet human, with complex motivations and backstories. Butch in particular is portrayed as a boy hardened by his past, trying to uphold what he believes is right and wrong. The film does a fantastic job of illustrating how the harsh system not only shapes these characters, but also limits their choices and chances for redemption.
Well, fortunately for us, we have some procedures in place. You and I are going to issue a report.
And what good would that do? I just told you I slipped and fell. In the dark.
Visually, the film is stark and oppressive, with the cold, concrete settings mirroring the emotional desolation that the characters face. The cinematography of Andrei Shemetov emphasizes the claustrophobic, often suffocating nature of life in prison, making the audience feel trapped along with the characters. The brutal violence and emotional rawness on display create an atmosphere that is both uncomfortable and compelling, with several standout sequences of brutality on screen portrayed in such stark objectivity it becomes hard to watch. But this is one of the film's strengths, its refusal to sugarcoat the realities of juvenile detention. The narrative doesn't offer an easy answer or hope for redemption. It presents a system that seems designed to perpetuate the cycle of violence and despair rather than break it.
You ain't gotta be scared. You scared?
No, man, I'm not scared.
You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? You ain't got no reason to be scared. You know what I mean, play?
Yeah.
Everything's all good, man. You know what I mean? Hustlers ain't scared of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You was a hustler, right?
Yeah.
Well, you hustling, man. So I'm hustling some weed and shit.
No, man, pills and coke.
You hustling that yay?
Yeah.
You moving that yayo? You like that raw shit?
Yeah.
You like that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, what if I have some of that raw shit, man? You want a bump?
The antagonistic dynamics between the inmates and the officers add another layer of complexity, portraying how those in power can be just as broken as the young men they control. This was a film that I first watched a very long time ago. I remember renting it from Blockbuster.
The perfect video store.
Welcome to Blockbuster Video.
Probably purely based on its DVD cover and the blurb on the back. I've since seen it several times over the years, and it's held up to my first memories of it. Not only does it have many standout sequences and performances, but the soundtrack is another thing that has stayed with me for many years. Two feature songs in particular from Balmoria and Kainan, which are used to great emotional effect. On the downside, Dog Pound could be overwhelming in its bleakness. There are few comedic moments and scenes of brevity. The relentless tension and frequent outbursts of violence might be too much for some viewers to handle, as it leaves little room for relief or hope.
Let's take a closer look at your work.
Fuck, touch me, man. Oh, no, man. What the fuck? Come on, chill.
However, this is also what makes it so effective in communicating the hopelessness and pain of the juvenile justice system. And despite its strong thematic content and exceptional performances, Dog Pound failed to gain widespread recognition, part of this due to its lack of mainstream appeal, as it does not provide easy answers or satisfying resolutions, in contrast to films like the aforementioned Shawshank Redemption, which focuses on themes of hope and eventual escape. Dog Pound refuses to offer a Hollywood conclusion. The film is relentless in its portrayal of suffering, leaving viewers with a sense of hopelessness and highlighting the inevitability of the character's fates. Dog Pound also received limited attention upon release. Overshadowed by more well-known titles within the prison genre, the lack of big-budget backing or a high-profile cast may have contributed to its under-the-radar status, even though the film is a prime example of how powerful independent cinema can be when it takes on difficult, socially relevant topics. Dog Pound is a film that deserves far more recognition than it has received. Its unrelenting portrayal of the horrors of juvenile detention, the dehumanizing effects of the institutionalization, and the tragic cycle of violence within the justice system makes it a compelling work of cinema. The film's focus on character depth, raw performances, and unflinching realism sets it apart from other, more sensationalized prison films. In a genre often dominated by high-profile movies that sanitize or romanticize life behind bars, Dog Pound remains an underappreciated and powerful example of how cinema can expose the darkest corners of the human experience. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. It may make you feel a bit miserable, but what's a good prison movie without a little misery? Thanks for watching.
Okay.